Oh boy. Handsome. So this is a collab video with a couple of my friends on YouTube, so please don't forget to check out their cute kitty/animal videos. So what I started with was that little template that you see there, which is a little goldfish, and right now I am just threading through some black thread, and I'm going over everything twice so that you'll actually see it. So I made two little eyes, or the dead X eye and then the fin. So I ended up cutting out two pieces of felt, and now I'm just looping the thread around, and this will end up being a kitty toy that has a little bit of catnip in it. So you're just going to keep looping around the fish until you get to a decent section where you can start stuffing it with some stuffing. So I didn't end up having any stuffing on hand, so I ended up using some extra wool bits that I had, still exactly the same thing. So you're just going to keep filling it and then slowly covering up the hole until you have just a small little hole left, and then you're just going to keep stuffing it. And to tell you the truth, I almost forgot to put some catnip in here, hence why there's only a little hole left. I would suggest before you almost completely cover up the hole to make sure you put a decent amount of catnip in it, and then push it in, and then you're just going to want to stitch it up. And then tie it off and then cut off the excess. So now I am working on Blaze's little tie, and as you can see, he's in the video too. So what I did was I took a long, thin amount of felt and then close off the end. And then from there you're going to pinch it and take a smaller piece of felt that you cut out and wrap that around it, and then close off the open end. And honestly, that's all there is to it to make a bow tie. It's pretty darn simple, especially with felt, which is why I love using it for this. So now I'm going to be making his little Dapper hat. So I ended up using a yogurt container, and this is just an extra coaster from a baby shower. So from there I am just cutting out enough black to cover up the coaster, and then you're just going to use your glue, hot glue gun, and then just pull in all the tabs, the extra bits, and then I'm gluing on the yogurt container, and then I'm cutting out another piece of fabric and cutting a hole wide enough so that we can fit the next piece of fabric on top of the coaster so you don't see it. And then we're just going to pinch underneath to cover up the ends. So now I am taking a square piece of fabric I had that I cut 4 notches in and covered up the top, and now I'm doing the sides of the hat, and then I am just pinching it down, just pulling in the fabric and gluing that in. This is the part that really matters, so try not to use too much glue or else you will see it. And then from there you just need to cut off the excess, and then again pull over the hat, or the fabric I should say, and cover up all the little bits. Now here's just some extra ribbon I had that I'm going to put on the outside of the hat. And now I'm going to be putting on the little straps. And last but not least for the hat, I am taking some Velcro and I'm putting it onto the hat, and then from there I am sticking the little fish onto the hat. And that's all the hat that's done. So next we're going to be making Blaze's bib. So I cut out this fabric. I just drew a template of what I thought would fit really well on his bib, and then I ironed it right in the middle so that it would look like you could button it up. So here all I'm doing is just stitching it very simply on either side. And there you have it. And then those are the buttons I'll be placing on. So I also had an extra piece of felt for his tie. And then from here, I'm just dotting the area of where I'm going to be placing the buttons. So now I'm just going to thread it by hand, and I placed the buttons in and I looped everything in 2 times again just to make sure everything is nice and sturdy. And then you just need to close off your loop. And then cut it off and do that twice. So I also cut out a black backing. And what I'm doing is I'm reversing it and I'm pinning it, and now all you have to do is sew it. And be careful, take your time. It did pinch a little bit, but that's all right. So then we're going to invert it. So just in and out, there you go. And so that's what it looks like now. And then I did realize that for what I needed, I didn't really need it to be U'd or scooped on the top like that. So I cut off the excess. And from here we're going to be placing it onto the tie once we've run a seam down the top. And we're doing this just so that everything stays in place. My needle had an oops there, everyone. So there we go. So now we're just going to cover that all up with the tie. So I'm going to be threading this by hand. And the reason why I did this is I didn't want you to be able to see the string. So what I ended up doing was very particular about this. You just want to make sure you don't go through the whole piece of felt. So you're kind of just going in the middle of it, and then you're just going to keep wrapping it around until you are done. And then you just sew on his tie in the middle. So here is it almost finished. So now I'm just going to add on a little bit more glue so I can add on the Velcro straps again, or the Velcro squares I should say. And there it is. And here is the end result, and with his little hat. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to check out everyone else's channel. Bye!